Welcome back to another episode of the Corrupt Crew Chronicles. Yeah, I went ahead and I changed that title from the Corrupt Crime Family Chronicles because in that circus cult, it's not only that circus cult leader and his family that are actually committing crimes, but there's other members in there and they're not blood related to the circus cult member and the crime family. So I went ahead and changed that title. It's so much that I have to report on. Like I said, if I don't come on here, and make videos, because this is just a hobby for me, as I've stated before, just, putting out information and keeping those of you updated. But if I don't come on here, it's because I have handling my own personal business, and or either I'm actually doing work to report the criminals that are sitting in that circus cult. I'm no longer saying exposing, I'm just making the videos. I'm reporting, criminal activity. And so today, actually, I went ahead and I put in 3 more complaints. And so that's what I was doing, earlier, and, of course, taking some care of my own personal business. But the majority of what I was doing was actually putting in 3 additional complaints. And, it's not looking good for them in there if, these allegations are true or accurate. I mean, if they haven't committed any criminal activity, there should not be any worries at all. Not at all. But I did want to go ahead and give a little update, actually, to those of you who are joining into the potential class action lawsuit. I will be sending an email out to all of you who have elected to join in on Sunday. So I'll be sending out an email to you all for an update. Been working hard on that. I've received some, been speaking with some law firms and everything. And also put out 4 additional submission forms, to see if any law firm will actually take on our case. So, because I got referrals from a law firm. So, and I was great, I was very appreciative, about that. So I wanted to go ahead and say that. I also wanted to go ahead and say that for you all who are gone from out of there, my brothers and sisters who are no longer in there, and it's like, when's it gonna happen, and things like that. It's crashing in there. It is, he's in there scrambling or whatever, and I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing because I'm not doing anything wrong. Except, like I said, reporting criminals. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to report crime or what I suspect as being criminal activity. And so, I always say that patience is a virtue, and it is, because for me, like I said on past video, I have been compiling data ever since 2016 when I came out of that circus cult. So yeah, that's been over 7 years. And it wasn't built up in a day, talking about that circus cult. So it's not going to be taken down in a day. Also with me putting in, the complaint forms and the claims and things like that to these different local, state, and federal agencies. It takes time for them to get back because I'm not the only one, that's submitting claims or complaints, especially when you get on the federal level, that's across the land, actually across, this continent, which they call North America. So, and then, with the state level, that's all the cities, in the state, those who are putting in for that. And then local, it's everyone who's actually, in that one particular county or city. So, again, patience is a virtue. You all, it's crashing in there. it is, and I'm handling it. I'm looking to actually put in the rest of the claims, because like I said, there's 26 active businesses that Shitty 1 and Shitty 2 and that crime family have that's listed. And again, if you go under the episode 19 video, you'll see all of the agencies that I've actually sent reports to. And when I say reports, I mean claims, complaints. Yeah, it's a lot, but I've done a lot of work, and I just have a little bit left, and I should be finished with submitting things, over this weekend is what I'm planning. So I just wanted to give that update and everything. I also wanted to go on and, talk about a situation with a certain, she was a former sister, actually in there. When I say former, I'm talking about she was a former member. She's still my sister. She's no longer in there. And her husband, he was joined into the circus cult, and he transitioned back in June of this year, so quite recent, and everything. And I just had found out about it just a couple of weeks ago. This month, actually, it was like around the first of this month, first part of August. And I just, found out about it, and I was just like, oh my goodness. But let me just tell you how much of a narcissistic, psychopathic sociopath that circus cult leader, Shitty 1, Chief of the Terrors, Commander-in-Chief of the Clowns, actually is. Okay, so the former, like I said, the sister who's gone from out of there, she had her former husband's, and I don't say former, let me not say former, because they were still married. They were actually still married when he did transition, but he was a former member in there. He was a minister. He was one of the first ministers. Yeah, he was in that first group of ministers that circus cult actually selected. And I remember they came in, they were there before me, so they were members like back in 2007. And so way back, like I said, I didn't, become a member till 2008. And so he was a former minister in there, and laid back, quiet, easygoing and everything. And so just to give a background of when, they were in there, him being a minister up there, first of all, he had a very good job. I mean, he was making there 6 figures. Yeah, 6 figures. And they had a home already before they even came in. As being members to that circus cult, they already had their home. He was already on his job making 6 figures. His wife, the sister who's, no longer in there. Actually, she was a stay-at-home mother and a stay-at-home wife. So she didn't work, didn't have to. And so, like I said, circus cult leader made him a minister and everything. And I'll never forget that it was in 2009, because it was after I had relocated down there. Down to Georgia, and it was during one of those funky feasts, and he would have the ministers get up, that's a circus cult leader would, on on the different days, and actually they would preach, teach, or whatever you want to call it. And so when this particular minister got up, he said during his sermon that investing into the stock market was like gambling. And he was just making an example, of like in that Bible, it says that no gambling, you shouldn't gamble. And so the circus cult leader took that as a slight to him. And so I believe it was the last day of the funky feast. And he sat him down. The circus cult leader sat him, the former minister in there, down. What excuse he gave was that he was working on Saturday. And so on Saturdays, in which he was, but we had just come into that to where, observing Saturdays. And you all know that word, that Scooby-Doo, Yabba Dabba Doo word or whatever that's used for that. And so, but he sat him down and used that as an excuse. So he kept, coming whatever. And then some type of way, like I said, that circus cult leader is pure evil. Evil. I'm gonna get to something else, but with this situation, he actually manipulated that word like he does as circus cult leader, and twisted around to where it was like he had that brother, like where he was working, he couldn't work there. So that brother, he quit working at his 100,000, he's making his 6 figures a year job position of employment. So this, meant that, of course, how many, positions of employment are paying 6 figures? I mean, that you come across, just quite frequently. There's not a lot. Few and far in between. And so this, calls for, his wife to, have to go and work and everything. And she's in the medical field. We actually have a certifications license, a certification license that's the same. And we used to talk, about that or whatever. And so she had to, actually go and start working, and, then he had to find another job. And then, his wife is very outspoken. She is an extrovert. And I love that sister. I do. She has just that, happy, upbeat, bubbly spirit about herself. I mean, just high vibration, just go active, just a lot of energy, and everything. I mean, high energy. And I like that, just positive. And so, when it happened, they went ahead, because she wasn't feeling him even before they came in there. She really came in there because of her husband. Her husband came in there first, the minister. So came in there first, whatever, and then she come on in there, and at the time, they had 2 children when he sat him down as being, minister and everything in there, and she was pregnant with their third child. And so fast forward, she went ahead and left, and he left, and then, some years later, it came back when we were over there at the funeral home. They came back and everything. And stuff, and that just didn't work out or whatever with the sister. She went ahead and she left, and he stayed. And so we went ahead and moved on to that raggedy ass dump of a building that they're in now. And so he was still there and everything. And so we had a meeting. And it was on a Sunday. That service cult leader called us, they didn't call us, but they sent out an email saying, oh, this is an emergency meeting and everything. And I remember I drove out there, actually, and I lived all the way in Buckhead. Yeah, I lived in Buckhead. So you talked about when it's, traffic is not backed up and stuff, that's a 45-minute drive. Yeah, I was that committed. Yeah, we ain't gonna get into all that. Yeah. So I went on out there too, and it was a lot of us who came, and then of course, they had the phone where The out of town members and those who couldn't come, could listen in on the phone. And it was a situation that went on with a couple of members. Some of you that are listening to me who's gone from up out of there, the situation. Well, he was there, the minister, former minister. He never became a minister again. He just came back in. When he came back in, he was just a brother. And so he left. He went ahead, he left for good. After that, he left for good on that day after that. So fast forward, they went on about their life and, and everything, and we done went on and everything. And so here it is, he has passed because he had some strokes. He had a few strokes, some other, health issues going on, and, his health was just declining. Well, at the time of, all this, they had separated as being husband and wife. And the wife, the sister, no longer in there, and now they still married. She's a widow, and I'll just say the sister widow. I'll just, just to keep it simple, the sister widow, she actually was living in her own rental home. She was renting it with their 3 children, and the brother, he was living in their home that they owned. It was separated. Okay, so he gets sick, starts having strokes and everything. So she was going back and forth, going and taking care of him, being his caretaker, of course, going back home, or whatever, where her residence. Now she's living here by herself, just with her and her 3 children. Well, here it is. She has a funeral, and this, like I said, was just back here in June of this year, 2 months ago. And so on that Friday, they had the wake for him. Well, the circus cult leader, nigga bum one, shitty one, he shows up. So she talks to him. I don't know what all was said. None of us, know what was said. So he comes back. That circus cult leader comes back, actually, to the circus cult, running his mouth, telling lies now, talking about, Sims, he died because he went out there running after his wife out there in them streets. And see, I told y'all can't be going out there and running after these folks who get out of here. I don't care if it's spouses, children, whatever. He just going on. Talking about, and she got a BBL. She didn't get a BBL. I'm going to go ahead and bust that up right now. A good sister gave me the information. The sister that he talked about faking with the medical, and she's not. No, that sister widow, the widow sister, she did not get a BBL. What he seen was somebody probably showed him, because I got the picture. The sister that I'm talking about, who's no longer in there, who I'm very close with, and say she's faking with the medical. That's what that circus code leader says, and she's not. Anyhow, she sent me the link to her Instagram, the sister widow's Instagram. That was a Halloween costume from last year, October 2022, and it went viral. She was at the skating rink. She loves to skate. She enjoys skating. Talking about this, and it went viral because it looked like it was they had the padding in it and everything. The picture, you can see that it's a fake. It's a fake behind, and it went viral. Because, of how her costume, everybody just was like, oh my gosh, look at your costume. It went viral. She didn't get a BBL. And he's running his mouth on this sister who's a widow now, talking about she was with other men and stuff. He has no proof of that. And I'm going to say this because I don't know if she was or wasn't. But I'm going to say this. They were separated. Okay, still husband and wife when he passed, when he transitioned. During the time when she was in that rental house, she was going back and forth, taking care of him. And then the owner of the rental house she was living in put it up for sale. So she had to move back in with him with their 3 children to take care of him. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't know, I can't vouch to say, oh, yes or no, if she was, fooling with a man, out there fooling with, I don't know. But what I can say is that I commend that sister who's a widow for doing that, taking care, being the caretaker, caregiver for her husband that she was separated from, and then to move back in and to care for him up until the time that he passed. I commend her for that. This circus cult leader stands up there like he has a perfect marriage, or like folks in there got perfect marriage. No, let me start on you, Shitty 1, and I'm going to go ahead and bring Shitty 2 on up in there too. Y'all two can't stand each other. Shitty 2 told a sister who was up in there, no longer in there, that she was close with now, that she only waiting for you to die in order for her to get the money. Now, Shitty 1, you done already said you don't want your whore. Now, you didn't call her a whore. I'm putting that on it. But you done already said that multiple times in front of us singles when I was in there in single meetings. Different single meetings, you made that comment that if you had to do it all over again, you would not marry her because she's not like how a woman that you want. She doesn't have the characteristics of a woman that you want. It was more purely physical between y'all two. Let's go ahead and keep it real. Now, I already talked about what came out during one of the confessions. She stood up there and we had been confessing several days, and then finally it's going to come out that you had to go to one of them doctors to sit up here and get her straightened out for women who are with child. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and a lot of these members who gone and was single in there and in those meetings, y'all remember. Yeah, I know some of y'all remember him saying that. I'm going to say this. You need to be trying to straighten out what's going on in there, because a lot of those members in there, they only in there because of their spouse. Their spouse is under that mind control. They don't want to be there. If their spouse was to take off, they would leave. They would leave right on out. And there is no perfect marriage. I'm speaking from experience myself. Do I love my husband? Yes. Do I know he loves me? Yes. There's no perfect marriage at all. No perfect relationship even before getting to marriage. There's not. And you stand up there and you run your mouth and you run people down and you sit here and you tell lies. And I thought that was not thought. It was just disrespectful. Disrespectful to that brother's memory. To his memory, disrespectful to his wife, the widow, their children, his extended family. It was just disrespectful. And like the sister who I'm close with, good sister who said, if it would have been, fearing for somebody for her, the cops would have been called, law enforcement would have been called, and you would have been escorted off those premises. And I'm with her. Cause cause the only reason why you showed up trying to act like you was all concerned and caring, and you're not, because you have narcissistic personality disorder, is to get information. And I don't know what she told you, because you twist things up and you come up with your own words. You come up with your whole conversation, just lies upon lies upon lies. But I wanted to get that out, and that's the information I had a pen in, and I was waiting for the green light to get on here and say, and I got the green light. I got that green light. But yeah, you keep your mouth off, folks. Circus cult leader. You, like I said, you and Shitty 2, y'all don't even be sitting up there and don't be having sex. You up there 2-3 minutes. Yeah, that is true, because you have impotence. Yeah, you're impotent. Majority of the time. But y'all don't sit her and say that came out of her mouth. She looked right into the eyes of a brother sitting in there now, in that service code, and said you don't do anything for her. She told the sister she was close with, the sister who's gone from up out of there, that y'all don't sit up here and fool around like that, really. Y'all really just don't. Yeah. So what are you talking about? This woman who's, and when I say that, the sister who's a widow now, she took care of her husband to the end. And so you need to keep your mouth off of folks. And like I said, you get up there and you run your mouth and you say something cross about me, a description about me, or any of the other members of God, and I'm coming back on here and I'm giving the smoke. Because I'm not playing with you, and I'm not playing with the rest of your doggone corrupt crew that's in there either. Those complaints been out. Like I said, local, state, and federal agencies. And they damn sure not gonna play with you. For real, this is serious. This is real serious. And you can get up there and act like it's not all you want to, but you know it's serious, and those in there who's sitting in there know it's serious as well. And damn sure the ones who's gone from up out of there, because some of us been talking. Yes, for real. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this video, and until the next time, I'm signing out.